I kind of thought the start of the key to the game is we just had huge misses on the mound and they didn't. And when you just keep challenging the strike zone the way they did, your defense is going to engage. I don't know, but would they have like 20 diving catches today? Your defense is going to play great. They're going to engage, and we just had huge miss after huge miss. And even though I thought Lindgren pitched really well, you can't have the kind of misses we're having right now on the mound, and that kind of takes you in the wrong direction. But I thought defensively, we did a pretty good job. The one ball kind of came off of Kyle's glove in the 6-hole. We got a freshman behind the plate who I think is progressing as a defender back there. But yeah, we're not putting anything together, and I think we will be able to do that at some point. It's just not happening right now, and I give all the credit in the world to those guys. They shoved the ball in the strike zone. They made the plays when we hit balls hard, and they're a solid ball club. We're just the game's beating us right now, and I say that all the time to our players. The game's beating us. I thought the biggest play in the whole ball game is we get runners. They have runners on first and second. And we get a bunt right back to Vance Tatum, and the guy at third is in a force out. He's out by 100 miles, and we work on that every single day. Anybody who's ever seen us take BP, we work on the bunting game during BP. We work at that more than anybody in the country. But that's that's a freshman deal, and that's as a coaching staff. When you put freshmen in those situations, you got to kind of hold them by the hand a little bit. And that was a big play in this ball game. So we just got to keep progressing, and we got to keep using the new parts and see if we can put something together offensively. Because every time we hit a ball really hard, it seems to be getting caught, and every time the other team hits a ground ball, it seems to be a hit. Now we're thinking about putting 18 guys, or all 9 of our guys defensively, in the 6-hole over here because we gave up 18 hits on the left side of the infield, and there weren't a lot of them that were really hit hard. So we just, it's the old Yogi Berra thing or whatever, Casey Stengel, they're hitting them where we're not, and we got to figure that part out too.
I apologize if you already answered this, but you talked about the identity of the team. What's the identity right now at 4-4?
Well, the identity is we can't have big misses as a pitching staff because we're not going to engage an umpire, and we're not going to engage our defense with big misses. I think we're trying way too hard, offensively, defensively, and everything else. So we're giving a lot of opportunities to people. The good side of that is you're involving a lot of people early in the season. The bad part of that is I think we have a lot of people who are pressing. You have your 4 or 5 regular guys who are playing every day, and then the other 4 or 5, every time they get on the field, they kind of make it into a tryout. And psychologically, you try and eliminate those things, but they seem to be happening, more. And that's the benefit to playing 9 guys and just saying that's it. The challenge with that is you can't block out the rest of your club when they deserve opportunities as well. So we'll get to a point where we have more of a 9-man lineup, but this early in the season, we feel like some other guys have earned some opportunities.
When you see the poor play defensively, as a coach, from your point of view, where do you see that kind of coming from?
Well, it's not from a lack of effort from our kids. They're working really hard, and we made one error today, really, and that was a ball on the backhand. It was a backhand play that went off Kyle's glove, and I think it really all starts from engaging the strike zone and not having big misses. And I think they did a good job of they took a ton of pitches that we didn't engage the strike zone on. So, that's something we got to get better at. They had a good game plan with that, and on the mound, we just weren't as good as we wanted to be. But clearly yesterday, we didn't. That was a defensive struggle for us. But I thought today, we handled defensively, we were fine.
As a coach, in today's age with Twitter and Facebook and all that internet stuff, how do you keep the team mentally strong where they're going to, we're all getting tweets about, like jumping off the ship, jumping off bridges. How do you keep them mentally strong and keep that outside noise on the outside?
Well, you play 56 ball games, and, if you're mentally weak, you're going to let anything. You're going to let a 5-year-old walking out of the ballpark saying, hey, you went 0 for 4 today and get you. That's a great benefit of playing in a program where people care. So, I appreciate the fact that folks care, but everybody, goes to a segment of their season where they're not playing well, and this is our segment, and I'll wear all of it if, for our club. It's when we lose, it's my fault, and when we win, it's because our players played great. So that's how it works in our industry, and, that's fine. But, our kids will keep getting better, and a month from now, we'll move beyond some things, and playing 4 games on a weekend really, it really shows you a lot about your club. That's why I wanted to play these games.
I guess what did you learn from the 4 days? You wanted it last week and you got it this week, and what did you learn?
Yeah, I learned that we have some guys who are pressing. I really learned a little bit about our left side defense. We're learning a little bit about our pitching staff and the roles that we're going to have, who can do what. And we learned a lot about our catching this weekend. I think that's the one thing I'm going to come out of this weekend is, I think we really have a good handle on our catching situation now, and I think it's really positive, even though, catching a freshman a ton is difficult because there's so many things he has not experienced. But we knew that coming in that was going to be a difficult thing for us as our catching situation, because when you lose 2 senior catchers who really caught every game over a 2-year period, that's a big hole to fill, even more than like a Hunter Renfro, and even more, than an Adam. So this club will keep progressing. There's no question about it. They have too many positive parts of it to let anything negative sway who these kids are.
John, I'm seeing CT and West talk after the games over in the dugout. That's a fourth year junior and a senior. Do you suspect there'll be some conversations among leaders to other players that you're not involved with? I mean, you said before, I've got to have guys on this team that just lead this team, that coach this team.
Yeah, there's no question. We have really good leadership on this team, and they will do a great job with it. But there's a fine line between, getting on people and trying to force things to happen. I mean, what are you going to do? You hit the line drive to left field, guy makes a dive and catch. What do? Swing harder next time so that you miss barrel? What do you do if you on the mound, if you have a big miss, do you throw the ball harder so that you have an even bigger miss? It's a very fine-tuned game. Our game is more like golf than it is, like basketball or football, from the standpoint of, you can't run up to a guy who has a 10-foot putt and scream at him saying, you better hit this putt. You can't go up to a pitcher and say, you better throw this ball that strikes it. You can't go up to a hitter and say, you better, hit this ball there. It's a very, very long season, and you have to be very, very patient with the ebbs and flows of the season. So I think we have kids who have been through it. I think they're going to do a great job leading, and I think this club still has a chance to have a very good season.
Coach Ross talked about Ross Mitchell last week in facing adversity in non-conference play. Would you rather face some of these bumps in the road versus non-conference, whether getting into the conference season, facing some of these bumps?
Well, I think it's not your opponent early on. It's your kids trying to figure out, and our staff trying to figure out a lineup, trying to figure out who's going to be doing what. And the challenge we have is like today, Armstrong didn't start the game, right? But he wants his opportunity. He gets in there and he comes in there and rams a ball in the left field, right? So, the guy who struggles today, if you sit him the next time you bring him in, they say, oh my goodness, if I don't do it today, I'm never going to play again. So you get into that cycle, and it has to be very delicately managed. So we're going to keep playing a lot of people early, even though it might cost us a little bit, because I think in the big picture, it's going to make us a better program. It's going to make us a better club.
How do you make it all come together, though? You see Vickerson has a great day, Lindgren, as you said, but it's kind of individual sport, but it's at the same time get them together, come together as a team.
We just keep gathering information, and we keep communicating with our kids, and we just keep fine-tuning it, and and it gets better. There's no magic pill. That's one of the challenges that you probably have with young players. They all want a magic pill. They want you to reach in your back pocket and give you the magic hitting pill or the magic pitching pill. It doesn't exist. You just keep on locking in on the game, learning every single day. You get better. I think, if you look at the history of the last 5 years, you see Hunter Renfro with 26 at-bats as a freshman. He got a little bit better that sophomore year, and then made a huge jump as a junior year. You just keep on progressing, keep moving forward, and it's going to happen. A day ago, I'm walking out of here on Friday, and somebody looks me dead in the eye and says, what's wrong with the referee? And I just remember walking out of here thinking, that guy might get 5 or 6 hits tomorrow and hit 3 bombs. And that's exactly what happened. So it can change on a dime, and I believe in these kids, and I think they're going to, I think we're going to forget all about this in a month or so. But we just got to get to these valleys right now.
You talked about them, on Friday, John, about how their senior leadership, shows up just when and you don't even know it. This kid at second base. They don't have any scholarships at the Patriot League. And they lost 13 players. But are you surprised that their fundamentals just not having been outside as much?
Yeah, again, we really didn't force them to have to make plays on the infield, which I thought was a key. Their outfielders made some good plays, but every single ground ball they fielded was above the knees, so there's no in between hops. It's a little bit of fortune. Is it a top spin ball that's an in between hop? We got a ton of those this weekend. They didn't. Everything they fielded was above the knees, which is a very easy play. So you get on a roll and those things start happening for you. And baseball's a percentage-oriented game, and when you play 56, it's that's what you want to be judged on. Certainly not your first 2 weekends.
Thanks, John.